Alright, we're back, and as promised, well, pretty much as I've been saying in a lot of recent videos, there will be more, and here's some of that more, and this more is actually going to be featuring some basketball talk, so here we go. We're going to actually get right into it, and it is Olympics time, so we're going to get right into Team USA. Really interesting stuff here, I gotta say. I haven't really seen too many of the games. I have seen highlights. Got quite a few more close games than I had anticipated. Now, it's not to say that the world overall as a whole hasn't gotten better when it comes to Olympic basketball or international basketball, however you want to look at it. But of course, you do see an awful lot more international names in the league today, such as Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic. I feel like I'm stumbling on these. I don't know why. Victor Wembanyama, of course, Yao Ming in the past, amongst so many others that have just stepped foot on an NBA court or just any basketball court over the years and have actually been impactful as hell. And you know, it's just real interesting. I remember back to 1992 watching the original Dream Team where it all started, and it's great to see that the game has evolved this much. And especially given that, again, they've had an awful lot of close games, or relatively close games, in the exhibition. The first one, of course, in Vegas against Canada was, I guess, decent enough. Pretty much a difference of 2 touchdowns, 86-72. Then, of course, Australia, within a week after that, 98-92. This in Abu Dhabi, as well as their one game with their biggest margin of 105-79 against Serbia and aforementioned Nikola Jokic, which is really, really interesting there. But yet you have the 2 games they had in London where they actually were within no more than a couple of possessions. One with South Sudan, which was a couple of days ago. That one was decided by 1 point. Specifically a LeBron James go-ahead layup to win Team USA the game. And then, of course, the game they had today where they beat Germany by 4. I mean, like I said, don't need to say it any more plainly. The competition's a little bit better than what it has been, or maybe even a lot of bit better than what it was back in that aforementioned era of the Dream Team. But it's very enjoyable, just given the fact that you've got this collection coming together the same way that they did all those years ago, and the goal still remains the same. Now, I think it's going to make for better competition, better television. I don't think, especially if these exhibitions are any indication, I don't think there are going to be too many blowouts for Team USA. And even if they are, there aren't going to be very many. I'd say maybe 2 or 3 at most out of, I think it's going to be 10 games or so that they're going to be playing. But either way, I expect it to be rather fun to watch out in Paris. But with that in mind, we're going to keep it on Team USA and actually talk specifically about LeBron James. And I wanted to talk about this because this is actually really, really cool. It was revealed this morning that LeBron is going to be the flag bearer for the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games in Paris, which he's going to be the first male basketball player to ever actually have that honor bestowed upon him. And I gotta say, it's tough to find too many people that are more deserving. I just feel as if, even if you wanted to throw in that whole GOAT argument, which I feel like is entirely irrelevant in this, but you want to talk about this as something that MJ didn't do, okay, great, but what does it really matter, you know? This is something that's significant because he was voted as the flag bearer not just by members of Team USA basketball, but all of Team USA as a whole. I mean, this just goes to show how highly a lot of people think of him, and he deserves it, and for a variety of reasons. And I gotta say, if nothing else, I kind of feel like it's surprising this didn't happen sooner, or in the 2 previous Olympics where he had won gold, specifically in Beijing and, of course, in London. But all the same, you know, it's really, really cool to see this, and I think that it's a fantastic story, you know, and of course, as he said it before, these are merely the wildest dreams coming to fruition for simply a kid from Akron, Ohio. And look at how far he's come to this point. But even with all that in mind, I think there's some really interesting stuff going along in the internet right now that really and truly, if I'm LeBron, I'd be pretty happy to see this, especially if it comes into fruition. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying that this is merely a what-if scenario, but should this actually be a thing, well, this is where it gets interesting as far as how I feel about it. And I'm also going to preface this by saying, don't adjust your sets, ladies and gentlemen. What you're about to see is real. Yeah. Jimmy Butler in a Lakers uniform. Honestly, I have a few different feelings about this, but more than anything else, especially in terms of what this means basketball-wise, I'm not going to act like I can't get behind this. I honestly could. I feel like this is going to give them that one big piece that they've been missing for pretty much ever since the bubble. I mean, it's really ironic because they beat Jimmy Butler and the Heat in the bubble to win the championship. But I don't know, especially with all the competitive matchups that you've seen, LeBron versus Jimmy Butler versus LeBron, it's one of those things to where obviously watching them compete against one another is incredibly fun to watch, especially because you're never cheated of any effort from either of these individuals. But the thought of the two of them on the same team, and you throw in Anthony Davis? Oh man, that's honestly bonkers. Now, a lot of this does stem off of a trade that, or a proposed trade that may or may not go down, and I'm actually going to go to the phone for this one because this is where I actually have the information. I actually could pull it up, but I'm having to do a bit more for that than what I should need. Nonetheless, this is a trade between the Lakers and the Heat, and it's going to go as follows as soon as it comes up. But obviously, the Lakers would get Jimmy Butler. He's the lone piece going to LA in any of this. Now, as soon as I can find this, we're going to go over what's in it for Miami here. And here it is. So with that, the Heat would receive D'Angelo Russell, Rui Hachimura, I don't know why I'm butchering that, Gabe Vincent, Jalen Hood-Schifino, and a 2029 first-round pick. Again, I could get behind this just in terms of the basketball aspect of this. I can't think of any other way to look at this right now and just, not be both thumbs up about it. It makes perfect sense. It's going to give both Jimmy Butler and Anthony Davis that additional score that, makes it to where neither of them have to do nearly as much. Now, of course, you do lose some important pieces along the way, but I feel like they've also picked up some pieces that may actually wind up filling the void, especially if Bronny's development, especially with what we've seen in Summer League, actually pans out to everything that a lot of people are hoping that it'll be. And of course, there are a couple of other prospects that they've picked up along the way. And I want to say there are a couple of other signings that I'm forgetting about from the Lakers that could go a long way for them. But at the end of the day, if this goes down or anything remotely close to it, I hate that I'm admitting this, but I may end up on the bandwagon just to see where all this goes. But in all honesty, it's going to make them incredibly tough to beat. Now, will it happen? Remains to be seen, but given the fact that it doesn't seem like the Heat and Jimmy Butler are close to a new deal, I wouldn't rule it out. I really wouldn't at this point, but y'all know what it is. Let me know what y'all think down below. Of course, like, share, subscribe if y'all are new and if you enjoyed it. And I am A&J. There will be more.